Hotel Finest was the most prestigious hotel in California. Anthony sat on a sofa in the lobby, staring at the elevator doors and waiting. The hotel management was strict, and the front desk had refused to sell him guest information. He had no other choice but come early and wait, hopeful that he could find the woman. His hard work paid off, and he jumped to his feet when he saw her gracefully exit the elevator. He presented her with a bouquet of fresh roses and blocked her path in what he thought was a charming manner. "Hello, beautiful. What a wonderful coincidence. I didn't expect us to meet again." Nora was irritated. Anthony didn't notice her annoyance and said with a smile, "It seems like we're destined to be. Surely you'll tell me your name." Isabel Anderson. Anderson was her mother's surname. Anthony's eyes lit up. "Are you free, Miss Anderson? How about a coffee?" She nodded in agreement, and he eagerly set off. "Just this way, Miss Anderson. By the way, where's your sister?" She frowned slightly. "My sister?" "Yes, that little girl with you at the airport yesterday. You only look about 20. You can't possibly have a daughter that age, right?" He clearly thought he was being charming. Nora kept quiet. She couldn't explain and risk revealing who she was. "It's just as well she's not here. She won't bother us. The cakes from the cafe are pretty good. You can bring some back for her." Nearby, Justin, who'd been inspecting the hotel, stared at them coldly. Behind him, Lawrence, his assistant, sneered. "That woman's too much, Mr. Hunt. Never mind that she deliberately approached Pete to meet you. Now she's flirting with someone else. What is she up to? And she referred to her daughter as her sister when she was lying to that man. I don't see her putting in that much effort when she was lying to you." Justin's expression darkened. He said frostily, "Look her up." "Yes, sir." After walking into the cafe, Nora found a table by the window. She quickly turned the topic of conversation to Anthony's engagement. He was keen to explain himself. "I'm not really a Miss Anderson. You don't know how ugly she was. When she walked, it was like the whole place shook. She used this excuse that her obesity was due to hormonal injections. She thought she'd be a beauty if she slimmed down. She was also ignorant. She dropped out of school in the 3rd grade and stayed home, cooping herself up in her room. But the worst of it was she ended up pregnant with another man's child. How could I possibly marry her? I didn't trust her. It would have been unfair to expect me to marry an uneducated, illiterate, obese liar like that, wouldn't it?" Nora drifted off as she listened to him. In medical school, Nora finally revealed her extreme intelligence to the world. Since her father kept her on house arrest growing up, she occupied her time by reading medical journals about advanced surgical techniques. By the time she began school, she was far ahead of her classmates. No one understood why she was so smart, but she became a hugely successful surgeon in just 5 years. Well, the tables had turned now, hadn't they? Little did Anthony know how successful she'd become. She just needed to get her son back, and her life would be complete. I really hated the Smiths' behavior. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be humoring Angela now either. Anthony realized he'd said too much, so he quickly changed the subject, looking flustered. "Oh, why am I saying such things? Where are you from, Miss Anderson?" Nora made up an answer. "New York." "The Andersons from New York?" Anthony swallowed hard. That was a powerful family, even more so than the Hunts. Anthony was impressed. He fawned over her even more. "I didn't realize you came from such a wealthy family. No wonder you're so elegant and charming. I heard that your fiancé gave birth to a child 5 years ago, but it was abandoned. I'm really curious. Where did that child go?" Anthony was dismissive. "That's just a rumor, Miss Anderson. No one was abandoned. My fiancé took the child abroad." What the Smiths had announced publicly at the time was that Nora had given birth to a baby girl. They hadn't mentioned that she'd actually had twins. Nora scoffed. "I'm just curious. Since you don't want to tell me, forget it." Anthony panicked and reached out to grab her. "That's not what I meant. Don't get mad." Nora evaded him and raised an eyebrow. "So are you going to answer me or not?" He spoke reluctantly. "Uncle Henry Smith, was the one who handled all that back then. I really don't know anything." Nora believed that Anthony didn't know the truth. Even though he'd been there at the time, it must have been hidden from him somehow. He was of no further use to her. She got up and walked out. He watched in astonishment for a moment, but then he pushed his chair back and went after her. "I'm telling the truth, Miss Anderson. Why don't you give me your number? We can contact..." "I don't think so." Nora got in a taxi and left him standing there, confused. Nora contacted some private investigators she knew in California to look for more information. As soon as she opened the door to her room, she heard Cherry's side of an involved online conversation with another child. "The princess is here. Everyone step aside. You're to escort her." "Okay." "Do you want to try my cannon? Hey, silly, tank the damage from the defensive tower. Go." I'm out of health points. Hey, why are you running? Tank the damage for me and I'll be able to get the 5 kills. I'll die. Oh, come on, you wuss. It's only a game. What are you so afraid of? Who's that kid she's playing with, though? Nora's curiosity was piqued.
Hi, Nora here. If you are wondering what happens next, then download the Pocket FM app and listen to the exciting episodes of Saving Nora Now with the link in the description.